there's a comment that I saw online that was great. This is from Charles. He says, it's too late. Right? Probably a good idea, but it's too late. They've already invaded with and overdeveloped with too many locals. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think he's wrong in that comment. It's never too late. If you don't start the change, you're never going to get the change.
Right.
And there's all the local people, including Charles. Do I know Charles Burke? I don't think I know him, but Charles would agree that I would think that the area, the community, has overdeveloped. And maybe not made the right decision on the developing,
right?
But the infrastructure is not caught up with all
not
the
at all.
development.
Not at all.
So it creates problems for us as a community.
Yep, problems with stormwater mitigation, traffic, everything else.
Everything.
But I understand where Charles is coming from because there's just this like sense of fatalism.
But it's never too late.
Sense of fatalism is just this belief that like there's nothing we can do. It's over. It was precious way back when. Love hearing Chuck's stories, but those days are long gone, pal. And we have nothing. And that's why I love talking to you so much. Is because for many reasons, because you look like Sean Connery and you're a great guy, but also because you have this sense of optimism and hope for the future, right? Because you're the person who looked the wet dry issue in the face and said, I got this.
It's what you believe in. If you believe in something, you're going to take it to the finish line.
Right.
And basically what we believe in the wet dry issue. I still believe in the Navarre Pass. I think that'll happen one day. Fee simple title, I think, will happen one day for the beach. That's only a 4.5 mile strip of land that we need to get fee simple title. They don't own their own property out there, but yet they're being taxed, double taxed, a lease fee, and also property taxes out there on the beach, and that's unfair.
Yeah.
But I think that it can still happen. We got to
work together.
We got to work together. That's right.
That's America. That's America. We were the country that looked the biggest empire in the world and said, no, we're going to fight for our independence.
Why do we have 2 chambers here? Why do we have 3 plunges here this year? Yeah. It's a lot of division here in the area.
Sure.
And everybody's got an opinion. And I respect everybody.
So let's talk about how you make it happen, because I think that's what folks like Charles want to see is give me a realistic understanding of how you would do this. And that's what America had, right? If you think about the great movements that we've had in the past, there's been some type of plan that people could agree on that got their heads around it. So we're going to talk for the rest of the show here about redevelopment. Redevelopment is a really important concept, and I'm going to give you some examples. But there's a website here that I'd love for you to check out if you're watching this live or not, but take a look at redevelopment.net. That is the website right below Chuck and I. And there's some pictures here I'm going to walk you through. But redevelopment is this concept, and it's not that foreign if you think about it. If you think about your own home, a lot of people have redeveloped their homes. I did this. I did this when I first moved here. Okay, back in 2017, we bought a home that had been foreclosed on, and I knew it because the price was very low and everything else. And I bought folks who were trying to flip it. They were trying to do the quick flip and just it's like, hey, I'll give you some profit. Let me take this on because I really want to invest in this home because I want to be here forever. And they said, okay, fine, and we negotiated a deal, and I bought it quick. There were still termites in it. The pool didn't work. There's all these problems with the yard. I got it, right? And I started cleaning it up. Let's get a termite inspection. Let's get the pest control out. Okay, it's going to take $20,000 to get the pool up and running. We'll kind of figure that one out next year. Let's start getting this house up. Now it's worth double.
Sure.
It's worth double than when I first got it.
And that's a redevelopment. That's a
redevelopment is you go into something that's been messed up, okay? Probably started out great, but it's gotten messed up along the way, and you fix it. You fundamentally fix it. That's the difference between redevelopment and a flip, right? Or just a quick flip, right? Is I'm going to go in there, I'm going to fix some things that they did wrong. I found a light that they had covered up when they were doing the flip for our pool, and we uncovered it and then replaced it and then didn't cover it back up, and now it works. Right now, pool's lit up at night, right? So it's things like that. It's fixing those fundamental flaws in a home or infrastructure or what have you that makes it what it always should have been for where we're at. And that's what you see if you go on that website, is you'll see in our state of Florida, there's national programs and things like that, but just in our state, numerous communities that are doing redevelopment. And then they show the before and afters of, we got money to be able to do this project, and now look at it.
Well, Pensacola has a community redevelopment. They
Yes.
do it over there. CRA.
Yes.
Gulf Breeze has one.
Yeah. Let's take a look at some of these.
Okay.
These are photos from across the state of folks saying, hey, we've got this, aquarium, and let's add a local feel to it. Boom. Now it's got a mural on there. Hey, we should have had sidewalks on our street, and we didn't.
Now we got sidewalks.
Now we redevelop it. Yep. Now we got sidewalks. They're doing this with 98, if you think about it in those terms, in Gulf Breeze, expanding it because it needs to be wider so that we can cut down on traffic.
If you look at what we have here on Highway 98, and then just go west towards Gulf Breeze, and the scenery starts to change.
And it's going to change more. Yeah.
The sidewalks, underground utilities. Yeah. I mean, it's going crazy.
Well, and then here's the nuts and bolts, right? If you've got the engineering mind or maybe the legal mind,
right,
you might be more interested in seeing, okay, this is great pictures, Wes, but show me the numbers. Well, here are the numbers. You can see these online as well. As you can see what Gulf Breeze is doing with their CRA is what it's called. It's a redevelopment agency. They have a $5.7 million budget for next year. Okay, so again, we're talking
for the CRA.
Just for the CRA.
In Gulf Breeze.
Yes. Guess how much the city is contributing from its taxes? $424,000, which is less.
Well, where's the rest of the money coming from?
It's coming from the county. It's coming from federal and state grants. It's coming from other things they've
built up over
years.
They're getting things that they want,
yes,
and need, and they're not really having to pay all of it. They pay a little bit of it, but
right,
they get the grants, they get the county input, and they get their projects done.
Well, and this has been the point, right? Is we talked about the water system and how kind of the easy button is just to raise rates. Okay, Gulf Breeze is not raising their taxes. And yet they're going to have a $5.7 million budget for their CRA.
Sure.
And I've met their folks who do this, and they're very, very sharp individuals who work very hard to say, let's go after this grant and this grant. Oh, there's some state funding for this. Oh, there's Triumph funds for that. And that's how they pull those funds in to get a budget like this, because they're thinking, okay, their taxpayers pay enough already.
Right.
Now let's go find money that they pay already into the system, as well as everybody else, and then let's see if we're eligible and pull that in so we're not having to tax them more. This is why I get frustrated when people on the anti-incorporation side constantly think that every single dollar of a city has to be from a property tax. It's just not true. And Gulf Breeze exemplifies this every single day, as well as numerous other cities that we've pointed out.
And do you think they're going to discontinue that program?
No, not at all. They're gonna flex it. They're gonna figure out what the rules are. They change the rules. Okay, cool. We're gonna abide by those. I mean, they are extremely adept at doing this, both in the CRA and as a city government, which is how you keep taxes low. Something that I think you know about, right?
Yeah.
So, to bring back Florida's best kept secret, to start to do some of this redevelopment in Navarre, here's what it looks like. Right? Here would be the effects of that, is ensuring responsible tourism, making sure that people come here, their money that they invest stays here. Right? It's not going up to Milton for them to decide. It's staying here for the locals to decide. Let's make sure that the people who come here are paying enough for the privilege of getting to participate in our community.
Right.
Let's recover our shared history and identity. We've talked about that. That's another key concept of this, is you go into a lot of different cities and you're going to find museums, visitor centers, and the whole point of those is to teach people.
Should have it here.
Yeah. Well, the whole point of those is they teach people, okay, now you're in St. Augustine. Now you're in Fort Myers. We should have that for Navarre
now
so
you're
that
in
people
Navarre,
understand.
Florida.
Now you're in Navarre. This is who we are.
Yeah.
Right? And now you want to be part of our community.
And be proud of it.
And maybe someday move here. Here's what you need to know. Here's the history that I'm getting from people like you and Jersey and Nancy and everybody else.
A lot of people don't know this, but Jaws 2 in 1978 was filmed here on Navarre Beach at the Holiday Dome.
Michael Carter's out there, scoring touchdowns.
He's a great player.
We've got heroes here. You'd never know.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, some of the new locals that are moving in, they don't know about it.
Right, and it's being lost over time, right? It's being lost because the further we get away from Jaws 2, right?
If you look at that film, Jaws 2, I don't know if you've ever seen it before. I thought Jaws 2 was probably better than Jaws 1, but it's all right. Both of them are good. But on the Holiday Dome, when they filmed the Holiday Dome, I spent many a times in that place. But all those people up there in that little balcony area are all local people. They're all locals. They're all sitting there having dinner and everything, and they're talking about the Gulf of Mexico and what's out there. And I mean, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous.
Awesome. And the effect of that is you educate locals and tourists alike. It's these stories you're telling.
When you say you want to build a museum, there's one of the sharks
Yeah.
here in Navarre.
From the movie.
From the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Still
I heard
here.
that, yeah.
The mechanical shark.
That's the kind
it's
of stuff
still
you want.
here.
And the stories
it's in a
you tell
warehouse.
about, the Pullums and the Pullmans and everything else, like capturing that history for my kids to understand.
Sure.
Right? Because
sure.
it's passed down, maybe verbally, maybe a little bit here, but
if they saw it and
but
feel
when
it
you
and
have a
touch it.
$6 million a year tourism industry pumping people in all the time, how many of those folks are getting that, and how many of those people that are moving here otherwise? But you know this is a great shot as we start to move to a close here.
Yeah, that was me in front of the county
keeping the
commissioners.
taxes low, and that's what a CRA excites me the most, is because if this was some monstrosity that you had to double and triple and everything else your property taxes in order to get this, then okay, and that's how some people react, I think.
Well,
but it's the grants of the CRA that is, to me,
right.
That's the best part, is you can have redevelopment, you can start to reinvest in Navarre's culture while using money that already exists. And Gulf Breeze has shown that model as well as a dozen other cities or more.
Sure.
And you've made that case before.
Well, I mean, that was in front of the county commissioners, and I was asking for a reduction in the property taxes, and what's the word I want to use?
In the public forum?
Yeah, in the public forum.
That's
but
right.
the last reduction of the taxes was back in 2012, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
And that was last year, if I remember correctly. And they have about $15 million more in taxes than they did the year before.
And what you see from the county, because I've had discussions with them, I know you have, I've asked them directly about CRAs. They're very aware of this process, but the last thing they want to do is set one up for the county. And
they don't want to give
they
one
don't
up
want to set one up for Navarre. And they've made that very, very clear.
We're a cash cow.
That is the frustration.